Crystal Orenchuk from Saskatoon, Karen Armstrong from Winnipeg in our second preliminary to see who will play. Michelle Johnstone, who bowled a 313, picked up 325. Crystal Orenchuk, in her second appearance last year, bowled a 371.
Record score. Same bowling style, gets down very low, good stretch through the shot and lets the arm rotate up there.
Starts off with the strike and puts immediate pressure on Karen Armstrong. This is her third appearance at the Pins game. Has failed to get by the preliminaries in her two previous appearances. Oh, head pin. And so the first $50 in the first frame will go to Crystal Orenchuk.
Well, you don't want to lose that first frame, but you know what? If you're going to lose it to the strike, she gets 2 practice shots here. Time to get a little timing in, get a little better feel for the shot. She can bring these 2 pins down.
You're speaking as a coach now. I wonder if, in fact, your head says that to you, though.
Well, I'll tell you what, you hit the spot you needed to hit. You got a head pin, you're going to expect that. And again, we go back to the mistake idea. All right, I made one mistake, it was a small one, but I fixed it.
Well, it's good for her now. She got her pin count, so she has to turn and walk away feeling a little bit better.
Exactly. She threw 3 good balls. Covered off the 15 points, and now she can set up, take a little more time with this one perhaps, and just go out and execute.
Better. Makes a slight adjustment and picks up the strike.
And that's what she needed to do there. Set that strike up. When you're leading off on the frame, you're going to want your opponent to have something to look at. Strike, obviously, the best way to do this. There's the knee bend, the good stretch again.
Nope.
Comes up a fraction short on that one, and the frame goes over to Karen. Good balance at the finish. The ball just slides by on the left side a little bit, chases the 2 pins over there, but can't grab that right corner. So now we'll watch and see how Crystal settles in on this one. Watch for it to be dead on the middle. It is. That's when you can tell her bowling well. They start picking these corner pins by just dead on the center of that pin.
Both bowlers with $50 so far through 2 frames. But it's Karen Armstrong from Winnipeg with the strike up.
This time it's the left corner standing for Crystal. She goes in, good steady stretch up, nice balance. Ball tracks over a little to the right side this time. Full on the middle, the left corner, the remaining pin. Picked the right without any difficulty and gets the left.
So back-to-back spares for Crystal Orenchuk. Now Karen comes in having just won the Canadian Masters singles champion. She's also a 4-time winner of the Canadian Open, 5-pin championship, so a lot of experience. But this is a different kind of event.
Oh, just about a kickback there, but left corner stands for her as well. This ball goes in, drives through the pins, and just blows behind that corner, and you saw that pin just kind of snap back, almost touched it.
So it needs this to force a carryover. Very nicely done. So we'll carry over and play for $100 in the fourth. For those who aren't familiar, explain what happens in tournament play. For example, in a Canadian Open Championship, we've only got the 10 frames here basically to play. What would you play in an Open Championship?
Exactly. You'd play a series of games, usually 50, 20, 24 sometimes.
So you might get away with a bad one.
You can afford the bad game, and it's an opportunity to work on it. In this format, she's leading off here in the fourth, knows that Crystal gets to look at what she's going to have to make. Here's where she needs the spare. A little frustrated on that first one.
Covers it. Very nice. Very good, 26.8 miles per hour as we have the radar gun on here. So Crystal Orenchuk, though, has a chance with a strike here to win a couple of frames and $100. Just a question to you. We noticed in the people who have been joining us throughout the 10-pin and the 5-pin series, 10-pin bowlers, their strike ball a little slower than their spare ball. Is there a difference in speed between shots and 5-pin?
Not normally. They're pretty close.
Crystal comes through with the strike. She'll pick up the 2 frames and the $100.
You want to be just executing that same arm throw, and you adjust your spot on the lane to use a different angle to approach those pins. But typically the same ball speed as much as possible. She got out of that shot a little bit, and by that I mean she just jumped up out of it just a fraction. She goes down here, not quite the same stretch down, just the timing off a fraction. Pulled the ball off to the left side.
Very nice.
To spare.
Very nice.
Well, here's an opportunity for Karen now. Veteran competitor. You'll notice she, for the younger bowlers, take your time out there on these shots. There's no need to rush. Get set. Take that deep breath. Focus in on your spot. Go out and let it happen. Okay, she can cover the spare now. Had no difficulty doing that in the first frame when she had the head pin. Covered off the 3-2 on the right without any problem. Look for her to repeat that and carry the frame. The eyes focus in on the target.
To carry over, needs them both. Gets them. Very nicely done. So Karen Armstrong, Crystal Orenchuk through 5.
Really needed the spare because she couldn't afford to give up that frame. Right in the heart. Covers it off.
Pin
gets
count.
The carryover.
Pardon me, Greg. I'm sorry. Pin count in favor of Crystal right now as we play for $100 here in 6. Oh boy, looked like she got a little bit lucky there, maybe a little full on the head pin.
Full shot on that one. Had to speed up a little more though, perhaps up to 26 miles an hour on that shot. Managed to stay on track, had the good rotation on the ball though. You can get away with those full hits when you have good stuff on it.
Very good.
Game on.
You betcha, ladies. Thank you. Crystal's mom Stella is here, and we welcome her to Frank Sisson's Silver Dollar Casino and Bowl in Calgary and the Women's 5-Pin Championship.
And Karen's holding her own in pinfall here. That strike in there, she's within 28, but the carryover is going to be the factor right now. Look at this. Is she going to cover it? Not quite. Right corner remains. Karen's got to be thinking now, here's her opportunity. Crystal, of course, is going to want to convert this and force Karen into throwing a strike to win that money.
Well, she's had marks in every frame, Crystal Orenchuk.
Got to have this. She's got to pick up this carryover. Can't afford to give it over to Crystal or the preliminary woes will haunt Karen again.
$150. And she'll get it. That's a big shot. Karen Armstrong comes through with the strike. She wins 3 frames.
Seasoned competitor. Just smacks it right in the pocket. You couldn't ask for a better shot.
And that also will help her pin count. Strike against the spare, so she'll close the gap as well.
She can close it to within 13 with the strike. Drills it.
That hurts.
Got to cover the pins now. Force your opponent into making a mark. The same misfortune could befall them. Leave something basically unsparable. So get the 15 points. Mistake. We'll see if that's going to cost her. Just off to the right on this one. Ball almost stays up, doesn't hook in there the way she wanted to. She throws a rather straight ball and now compounds the error with only a 10 count. So the pinfall that she was gaining just got thrown out on the table again, and Crystal, if she can throw a strike here, is really going to build that pinfall up.
Just $50 separating the two.
And there's the punch I was talking about that comes back. But Crystal now a much easier job. There's the 10 that guarantees the carry. I think you can put this frame on her side of the ledger right now.
And that'll give her the frame and the $50. So we're all even. Going to 9. And the pin count in favor of Crystal Orenchuk.
Try not to rush this shot. Stay nice and smooth. Ah, another punch. So we were going along so good for a while, and now the dreaded head pin coming up again.
Back-to-back head pins.
Maybe increase the speed just a touch on those shots. And a little error here now for Crystal. Only 24 pins separating the players. There's the 12 count, bringing her to 223 through 9 frames. There's a good, did you notice how she glanced over at the scoreboard there? Took a look. No rushing to get up here on this shot. That's a veteran competitor from national finals and competitions like that.
And that's a strike from a veteran competitor to pick up the frame to $50, and now she takes the lead.
Well, she's
in money's won.
She's got a possible 90 points here to finish off that would bring her up to a 277 game. The best that Crystal can do, 268.
So she can win it on both counts. Another one? No.
Oh my.
And that could mean the difference.
That just made it really, really interesting.
Remember, if they're equal in money, then we'll go to pin count.
Come on.
Oh. The mistakes have been on the head pin picking. In the 8th frame and the 9th frames for Crystal, and in the 8th frame for Karen, and now try to just minimize the mistake, but only counts 9. 218, her final score. So Crystal,
right now, Crystal has it. She she sits 223 and 9.
You can pretty much hand it over to her. She's got to beat the 9 count. Probably be on the first ball.
With emphasis. And there it is, the final $50 will go to Crystal Orenchuk, so they split the money, $250 apiece, but pin count will decide this one, and Crystal Orenchuk, who made it to the quarters a year ago, will advance and play Michelle Johnstone.
She'd be certainly glad she didn't throw that ball first last time.
Yeah.
You can afford to do it now. And now she'll get rid of this last shot. Get ready for Michelle Johnstone.
Nicely done. Crystal Orenchuk from Saskatoon bowls a 253 and will advance on pin count over Karen Armstrong. It'll be Johnstone and Orenchuk when we come back to Frank Sisson's Silver Dollar Casino and Bowl.